The East End of London, a place of grim streets and hard lives. It was here, in the shadow of wartime bombs, that the Kray twins, Reggie and Ronnie, were born. Identical in appearance, they were a force of nature from the start. Their bond, forged in poverty and violence, would become unbreakable, but it would also pave the path to their destruction. Even as children, whispers followed them. A fierce loyalty to each other and a hair-trigger temper marked them out. School held little appeal, the streets offered a different kind of education. The twins were drawn to its brutal embrace, their fists becoming their tools of choice. It was a grim apprenticeship in the only trade they would ever truly master: violence. Boxing, a brutal ballet, offered a legitimate outlet for the twins' aggression. They entered the ring with a ferocity that belied their youth. Victories, often swift and merciless, fueled their ambition, but the allure of the underworld proved too strong. London's criminal underbelly beckoned, promising wealth and power beyond the reach of any boxing ring. They started small, petty theft and protection rackets, but their ruthlessness set them apart. They were quick to anger, even quicker with their fists. Their reputation grew with each act of violence, a whispered warning in London's underworld. The Krays were not to be crossed. The 1960s dawned, a decade of change and liberation. For the Krays, it was a time of opportunity. Their gang, the Firm, tightened its grip on London. Nightclubs became their playgrounds, casinos their coffers. Politicians and celebrities rubbed shoulders with gangsters, blinded by the twins' charm and the intoxicating aura of power they cultivated. But beneath the glamour, the violence escalated. Protection rackets bled businesses dry. Rivals were dealt with swiftly and brutally. Those who dared to defy the Krays met with gruesome ends. Fear became their currency, buying them silence and loyalty in equal measure. Section 4, a veneer of glamour, bloodstains on the dance floor. The Krays became celebrities themselves, their faces splashed across newspapers and magazines. They courted the press, reveling in their notoriety. Their nightclubs, filled with the glitterati of the day, provided a glamorous backdrop for their criminal enterprise. They were living embodiments of the dangerous allure of the underworld, and London, it seemed, couldn't get enough. But the facade hid a dark truth. Behind the charm and charisma lurked a chilling capacity for violence. Ronnie, prone to fits of paranoia and rage, was a ticking time bomb. Reggie, the supposed voice of reason, proved just as ruthless when crossed. The glamour they so carefully constructed could not conceal the stench of blood that clung to them. Section 5, the walls close in, McVitie's murder, and the beginning of the end. By the late 1960s, the net was closing in. The police, long frustrated by the twins' seeming invincibility, were building their case. Informants whispered from the shadows. The twins' empire, built on fear and violence, began to crumble. Then came the turning point, the brutal murder of Jack the Hat McVitie. McVitie, a minor player in the Krays world, had made the fatal mistake of crossing them. His punishment, meted out in a drunken rage, was swift and brutal. The murder sent shockwaves through London. The whispers of violence turned to shouts of outrage. The Krays, once untouchable, were now squarely in the sights of the law. Section 6, Legacy of the Twins, a shadow over London's underworld. The trial of the Kray twins was a media sensation. The evidence against them, meticulously gathered, was damning. Their reign of terror was laid bare for all to see. The jury delivered a guilty verdict, their sentences life imprisonment. The East End boys, who had climbed to the pinnacle of London's underworld, were brought down by their own brutality. Their legend, however, lived on. Books, films, and countless newspaper articles have ensured that the Krays remain enduring figures in British criminal history. They are a cautionary tale of ambition and violence, a reminder that even the brightest lights can cast the darkest shadows. The Kray twins are gone, but their legacy, like a ghost story whispered in the back alleys of London, continues to fascinate and repel in equal measure.